In today's gaming news, Bethesda reveals BattleCry, Magicka Wizard Wars enters open beta, and the PC port of Watch Dogs runs like trash. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. My name is Force, here with your day's gaming news. First up today, Bethesda has just revealed their next major project titled BattleCry. This is going to be a free-to-play action combat multiplayer game coming to the PC. BattleCry will be set during an alternate version of the 20th century where disputes are settled in war zones and gunpowder has been banned. Now this is going to be a 32-player team-focused game where you're using these transformative weapons, and some examples are these giant swords, electrostatic charged blades, armor-piercing bows, and giant metallic gauntlets that will smash faces in. Now, so far, all we've seen is this cinematic trailer for the game depicting some combat. There are also a few screenshots that are revealed, and I actually really enjoy the style that they've chosen to go with this game graphically. The game is actually being worked on by Victor Antonov, who was the conceptual artist for Half-Life 2 and the visual design director for Dishonored, and I get a lot of that Dishonored vibe. They chose to go with sort of a comic book style. When you take a look specifically at like the blood splatter in the screenshots, you can see a lot of that coming through. I do like the way it looks when it comes to a game like this, a multiplayer competitive game. Whether or not it's going to be good and enjoyable really comes down to how it plays and the combat. You know, it does look good, but it's far too early to make any sort of assumptions as to whether or not this would be a game that I would like. We're gonna have to wait until we get our hands on it, and that looks like it's going to be at some time in 2015. There is a competitive multiplayer game that you can get your hands on right now though, and that is Magicka Wizard Wars. After being available through Steam's early access for a few months, the game has now just entered into open beta. Now, to coincide with the open beta, they've added a brand new map, spells, and customization options. If you didn't catch my coverage of it in the past, Magicka Wizard Wars is a 4v4 competitive multiplayer game that utilizes Magicka combat, and that is essentially the combining of these various elements to make new spells. It's a pretty frantic game, fast-paced, sort of Twitch-style gameplay from a top-down perspective. Visually, it looks very much so like a MOBA-style game. However, it does have objectives and it is team-based, but everyone plays as this base wizard, and everyone has access to the same set of skills that you can combine to make new abilities, essentially. The gameplay itself was very sound, a lot of fun, very responsive. So if you've at all been interested in this title in the past, give it a look now. It's in open beta. There's nothing holding you back aside from the download. And again, I think it's worth at least checking out if you think you would be even slightly interested. And last up in news today, we just saw the launch of Watch Dogs, and it has been reviewing fairly well. However, if you're considering picking up the PC port of the game, buyer beware, it runs like garbage. This is not just coming from personal experience, reading forums and message boards, and even just press reviews. The PC port of this game looks to be very, very poorly optimized, and it seems like the biggest problem is coming with loading new assets, and that's going to happen whenever you're driving in a car through the city, moving from one location to another quickly. The game has to load this stuff in. There's just huge frame drops and glitching, and just for a point of reference, my PC specs are fairly high. I've got a GTX 780 Ti, an i7 4930K, and 16 gigs of dual-channel DDR3 RAM. It's a pretty good rig. It was a very expensive rig, and it runs this game like trash. During those situations, the game itself can play it on Ultra, looks beautiful. When we're just, you know, in a shootout or we're hacking or we're just moving around at normal speed, it's fine. It runs at a pretty smooth 60 or 70 frames per second. But again, the second you get in a car and you start driving, or even when you start sprinting, some major hitching happens, and it's very, very frustrating and almost nauseating as a player to go from 60 frames to drop down to like 20 for a second, and then up to like 34, and then up to 70, and then back down to 40. It's just very disorienting and very unfortunate as well. And again, this is not just coming from personal experience. It seems like it's pretty much across the board. Just wanted to let you guys know, Overall, I'm still enjoying the game. I've sunk 4 hours into it so far in the early stages of things, but it's been fun. It's a decent open world game with all the trappings that you expect in open world games like Saints Row and like Grand Theft Auto, but it has the hacking hook, and it seems pretty decent overall. Again, it's been reviewing well, but the optimization, the performance on the PC, not good at all. All right, guys, that is going to do it for today's episode of The Feed. Please let me know in the comment section below what you think about any of the topics discussed here today. BattleCry seems pretty interesting. Still too early to tell. What do you guys think of it? Magicka Wizard Wars, are you going to check it out now that it's an open beta? And have you played the PC port of Watch Dogs on the PC? Yeah. And if so, what do you think about its performance? Thanks so much for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Have a fantastic day. Once again, this has been Force, and you have just been force-fed. Get a better PC. Get a better PC. Force, you're such a scrub. Why is your PC so... And look, that has nothing to do with the quality of the PC. They don't care about us. They don't care about us PC gamers. The console, optimize everything for the console. To PCs, doesn't matter. They don't care about us.